Hello, entrepreneurs, dreamers, business owners, and happy people with high hopes. Welcome to Cashflows with your host, Cash Matthews.
All right, welcome everybody to Cashflows. I am Cash Matthews, coming to you today from Tulsa, Oklahoma, here at the luxurious penthouse suite of Elevate Coworking at 91st and Sheridan. And we are here today working on this podcast called Cashflows, that we may bring some value into our community. And we're excited that you're here. So this is supposed to be fun. We talk about various subjects. We talk about the good life. We talk about money and business and finance and personal things and overcoming and self-development. So we hope this is value to you, and we're going to have a good time here. And with that, I want to introduce my co-conspirator in this endeavor, Mr. Kenneth Bauckham. Kenneth.
Yes, sir.
What's a nice guy like you doing? Wait, I've screwed it up again. Roll back.
I'm saying I'm not a nice guy?
Well, I'm still evaluating.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Kenneth. What's a guy like you doing in a nice place like this?
Well, speaking of evaluating, I'm actually the quality control inspector for air guitar performances.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, just going around taking scores today, and yeah.
Okay, well, that struck a chord with me, and I am so glad you said that. So we're glad that you're here. So the goal of Cashflows, if you can see the sign behind me, is to visit and talk to people who have a similar philosophy of fire, aim, ready. And we work in the world of business, and I've been in business for 42 years for myself. And one of the things I think that's helped me in my business is the ability to make a decision. And so many people go through life, and they have an idea, or they have a thing that they want to do, or I want to travel, or whatever. But the problem is they never make a decision. And the word decide is actually the origin of the word decide is of Greek origin, means to cut off. And the word, suicide or genocide, to cut off people. The word decide is to cut off all other alternatives. And one of the things I learned early, Kenneth, is when you decide on something, the possibility and the probability of a positive outcome or success increases once you decide. So we like to help people decide. We're in the entrepreneurial space. We love entrepreneurs. And if you are not where you want to be, this show is for you. If you are where you want to be, this show is for you. We'd love to have you on as a guest for Cashflows. So with that, it is my pleasure today to introduce one of our favorite people. One of our guests today is Miss Samantha Moneypenny. Samantha, say hello to everybody.
Hi, everybody.
All right.
There's a studio audience right there.
Well, yeah,
Woo-hoo.
Our studio audience approves. Thank you, guys. Well, welcome to Cashflows. We were excited to have you on the show. We're going to talk a little bit about this crazy group called the B.O.N.G. And for those that don't know, the B.O.N.G. is it's not a thing. It's an organization called the Business Owners Networking Group that unfortunately shares the name B.O.N.G. with a thing that I guess it's a place where you store drugs.
Yeah.
So I was on the debate team. I never got to hit the B.O.N.G. I don't know. But we met Samantha through this business organization about a year ago.
January
January of this year.
January of 2023.
Man, it is going quick. And in the
Can you believe it?
Man, I can't believe it. Like, what a year it's been. It's been a crazy year, lots of ups and downs and some more ups. And man, it's just been a fine year. And
time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah. So man, I had a joke going right there and I just completely lost it.
Oh,
so we do dad jokes and stupid jokes, high-end comedy. So, if you're not getting these jokes, that's on you, dude.
You're probably not a dad.
You're probably not a dad. It's apparent. I'm a father. Wait, it's apparent. Okay, that was a joke, right?
Yeah, it's close.
Okay, I think that went over my own head. So Samantha, we're going to talk about the B.O.N.G. event first. How'd you hear about it? What were your events like? How have you profited, if that's an okay word? What have you enjoyed about the B.O.N.G. group? So tell us a little bit about your starting experience with us.
So I got invited by a couple of people that I had started networking with right when I first purchased Rhea's. And they encouraged me to come and check out this group. And I got a ticket to the live event in January. And I was kind of hooked because I'm a very social person. I like to be in the midst of a party. And I found a lot of great people. And that was kind of what was missing from this new adventure of being a small business employing all these people and getting to know people and networking, because I didn't know what networking was.
Right.
I knew I needed to do it. I just didn't know how. I didn't like how I was networking, and I am so grateful for the friendships I have.
Yeah.
And it seems like it's been longer that we've known each other.
You were one of those people that came along and you got started and it was like you'd been there the entire time. Like you've absolutely fit right in. And I thought you were like a superstar. Everybody loved on you and I'm like, God, who's this lady? But
And then when I don't wear pink, people are like, are you okay? Like,
I get
I
that a
had to
lot.
have my signature pink on and, be in the midst. Everybody can spot me from across the room.
Well, we're really glad you're here, and your business is midtown.realana. Let me make sure I say this right. midtowntulsa.realana.com. It'll be in the speaker notes on how to contact Samantha. But the thing that she's doing in her business is just phenomenal. Give us just a brief overview and description of what you do, how it works. We'll get in. I've got some great questions for you, and but we'll get into that in a minute. But I want to hear just first, what is Realana? How can our listeners and viewers, participate with you? What kind of thing is it? Tell us a little bit about it. Take a couple of minutes.
So, Rialanas is a children's consignment event. It is supposed to be twice a year. We come and bring the community together. You can do that by consigning your items with us, by just coming and shopping, or even working. It gives you the opportunity to be a part of something.
Right.
And I fell in love with it from the very beginning of the stage of our cycle of our demographic. I found out I was pregnant, needing to shop on a budget.
Mhm.
Pretty much how most people hear about us. And I loved how it didn't feel like a consignment store. It felt organized and like I was walking into, this big, beautiful, bright storefront. And everything was organized and pretty. And I was also doing my part for the community.
Right. So that's a cool idea. And we've got a B.O.N.G member that has 13 children.
Yeah.
And I only have 2 children, but as they grew up, like they're in those 1-year-old clothes for about a minute.
A minute.
Like literally. And then at each age, it just seems like a scam to me to have kids.
Well, and then they have the dress up days at schools where you're
Right.
literally buying something for them to wear one day at
Right.
school. Oh, I did a whole thing.
Yeah, and I'm a math guy, I'm a finance guy, and I started doing the mathematics on having children, and I'm like, man, are you kidding me? Like it was interesting to watch how quickly kids move out of clothing, and then you're done with them.
Right.
And
What do you do with it?
Then what do you do with all this stuff? And like you literally have an investment into this clothing
Mhm.
that I'm simple. You're probably I've got 2 pairs of jeans and 2 pairs of khaki pants and about 10 blue shirts. In fact, I'm what they call the adult Garanimals. Do you remember Garanimals?
Oh, gosh.
I think from Sears, you had to match the tags.
It's been a while.
It's been a while, but like I'm the Garanimals guy. Like I look in every morning and like, I'll do a khaki and a blue. Oh, everything's blue.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Which shade of royal blue will I wear today?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Like I am not a sophisticated dresser. In fact, I was looking at how I dress. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't even think about it. I grabbed a sweatshirt.
Hey.
For your podcast, I dressed up for you, and I made sure that like I've got dog hair all over it. I don't know how people dress well. I am just not that guy.
We'll edit that in post.
Yeah, let's. I grabbed the wrong pants. I used to be larger, and I grabbed the large size pants, so I can't stand up.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anyway, so
Please remain seated for the entire performance.
objects in mirror are closer than. I don't know why that's even funny, but it seemed funny. Yeah. So dressing kids, that's an endeavor.
It is.
And as I heard you say it, I couldn't even say the word Rialana.
That's right.
Where's that name come from? Where does the word Rialana come from? Is that a person?
It is actually a person. Her name is Rhea Lana Reiner. She started it in her house 26 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And she had friends. She wanted a great way for families to find affordable but also high quality stuff for their kids.
Right.
You know, biggest part of why I love serving the community is how we give back.
Right.
You know, we give back to foster families, we give back to donation partners, and just taking care of people. I mean, I felt taken care of from day one when I stepped foot as an expecting mom. And that's a whole nother world for most of us that are, you know, wanting to have kids, is you don't know what that's like until you're there and you're like, oh my gosh, all this information's being thrown at you in so many different directions.
Right.
And being able to find something in one spot is like the best thing ever. I could plan things out, because those that don't know me, I am super planner, organizer. When my life is not organized, I am not.
You're a mess.
I am a mess.
Well, by definition, if you're not organized, you're a mess.
That's true.
But I mean, it is hard for me to function when it's not organized.
Oh, okay. So you're on that level.
I am.
Well, let's back up a little bit. Let's
Yeah.
slow down. Let's get to know Samantha
Okay.
and learn a little bit about your family. First, how did you end up? So I've noticed an accent,
Yes.
and I heard the word there in there, and I couldn't tell if it was 2 or 3 syllables.
Yep.
Let's talk about your accent. How'd you end up in Oklahoma?
So I'm originally from southern Arkansas, like almost
Okay.
Louisiana, and that's where that little twang comes in. And I moved with my family early elementary age. So
Okay.
I had a good basis for Arkansas, and then they switched it up and we moved to Oklahoma.
So
And-
Oklahoma's the big city compared to Arkansas?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
My town that I was born in is like 1,038 now.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Wow.
Small town. Walmart was an adventure. To go to the mall, you have to drive an hour and a half.
Okay.
Like,
What was
you
the
know-
name of that town you grew up in?
do we really have to talk about that?
Yeah, we do. We had 7 requests in the email box this morning.
So, Smackover, Arkansas was where I grew up.
Wait, say it again.
Smackover, Arkansas, which is just outside of El Dorado, which is on a map.
If the first smack doesn't work, you smack over.
Thanks, Cash. And then we moved into Parker Chapel. Like, it's all within the El Dorado area. And
Right.
so the hospital is in El Dorado. So technically that's what it says on my birth certificate.
Okay. Well, we have learned today of Smackover, Arkansas.
You
Yes,
have.
we have.
Wow.
There's
Okay.
1,000 people that live there.
Right.
We're
Little
doing,
over.
we're doing a lot of world traveling on this podcast. You know,
Yeah,
just
we-
learning about all
we're-
kinds of places.
Yeah, we can do one of those go see the world podcasts. And
Yeah.
today we're heading to Smackover, Arkansas. Was it,
There's not much there.
is anything notable from Smackover? Notable athlete, food item?
Quantity of stoplights.
There is actually a lot of stoplights in Smackover.
Oh, okay.
It takes you a full 20 minutes to get from one side to the other because it's just back roads and
Yeah.
a lot of oil refineries and stuff like that down there.
Did you say
So-
oil?
Oil, yeah.
Okay.
See, my accent's
I
coming
love
out.
the accent, man. This is great.
Do we need to talk about a buggy and all this other stuff too?
No,
we need to
we're-
get that out of the way.
We are good. Well, we're glad you made it to Oklahoma. So Tulsa really is a big city for you.
It is. It is huge. And I've been in Tulsa, Broken Arrow. Like, it is a big city in comparison. Like, I had 1,000 people in my graduating class.
Mm.
I was like, man, this is like the whole town
Wow.
in one school.
So the B.O.N.G group at 5,500 members and 1,000
Mhm.
visitors today is 6 times as large as the town you came from.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. Welcome
Does
to
that
the
put that in perspective for
big
you?
city B.O.N.G.
Yeah.
Right?
right there. Okay. So we want to learn more about Rhea on us because that is an interesting story.
Mhm.
And, you know, how does it work? And we want to dig into, you know, our listeners want to know how to engage with you and they want to know about you as a human. And we want to hear about Rhea on us. But first, I want to hear about your son, David.
I knew you were going to ask about him.
Well, we have to go there because he is, he's smart, like
He is.
crazy smart.
He's the reason I got started with Rhea Lana.
How old is he?
So he will be 8 in March of 2024.
Okay. And he seems to enjoy talking about planets.
Yes.
Tell us about David and planets and
So David has, for the past 2 years, learned about the solar system and can name pretty much every moon, planet,
Hmm.
even teaching me about dwarf planets, which he loves to tell Cash that Pluto's not a planet. It's a dwarf planet and all the other dwarf planets and why. Even got a book from the library to prove to Cash. It is in print.
Evidence.
Evidence. Because, they're all about numbers and they're all about, got to do your research, right?
So, yeah, part of this show is to support Pluto as a planet.
Yeah.
Well,
He's going to be so mad at you.
Hey, David, Pluto's a planet. And if you want to go there sometime, how do you do that? You plan it. Sorry. Okay. This is me shitting. Let's go back to Rhea, Lana.
Yeah.
And we want to hear how it works and why it works and how our listeners can engage with you so that they benefit, so that you benefit, so the Tulsa community benefits. Tell us the process of a successful Rhea Lana year.
So Rhea Lana's, because we do an event twice a year, we go back to the model of spring cleaning and harvest cleaning. Back in the good old days, that's what you talk about. And it's a way for your brain to break it down. You're going to get rid of the spring, summer, because they outgrow it in a day.
Truth.
You can be ready to consign that at a Rhea Lana's event, but then also buy what you need at the same place.
So wait a minute. People bring you clothes to sell.
So they can sign it into our database. They enter it at home, or we have other options for that.
Okay.
And they make higher than any other store in the state in one place. You're not having to go to 4 different places to drop all the stuff off, because that's a little crazy. You can consign everything, make a flat percentage off of it, and buy what you need with the same amount of money.
So hang on, this is genius. So your suppliers are all just individual moms and dads, kids bringing their stuff in from the previous growth spurt.
Right. Because we do a quality check of our items. We want to make sure everything that comes in doesn't have holes, stains. Like, it's genuinely basically new off the rack, because, again, they're not wearing it for very long.
They wore it for a minute, right.
And so the people that come in to shop it know that they're getting a great deal on it, because we teach them how to price it so it sells. And they're getting what they need. I mean, I've had stories of a mom of 5 kids. I mean, 5 kids is a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And she could come and get everything she needed and shop within an hour and a half.
Wow.
She has the entire wardrobe.
But you're also creating a way to pay for it.
Right.
That is genius. Have you ever heard of anything like that?
Well, over at
now you have.
in Midtown Tulsa, I have.
Yeah.
Over at Rhea Lana's.
At Rhea Lana's, that's
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Because Kenneth's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Well, so I don't know if people are aware that they can. I mean, it's like a trade-in program.
It is.
Okay. Yeah, that's.
And you can work on it for most of the year. Like, I have people right now that are like, okay, when's your next event? I was like, it doesn't matter when my dates are. You can start working on it now, a little bit at a time.
Is there an age range where it works the best?
So I knew you were going to ask that. So our favorite joke is from expecting moms to kicking them out of your house. So those.
All right. So about 45 is kind of your top age then?
Yeah.
Or?
I mean, I would prefer to not go up that high, but I mean, if a 45-year-old's going to come in and buy it, no big deal. But basically, we've looked at the teens nowadays. They wear adult clothes.
Yeah.
So for our older kids, we're brand specific.
Right.
So that, go to our website. We'll be able to tell you what brands we're looking for, because, I mean, that athletic wear alone, I'm not going to spend $180 on a jacket. I'm just not.
Right.
But I might spend $30, for the exact same thing that somebody wore for maybe 2 weeks.
Right.
6
so
minutes.
We do, we have maternity clothes, which there's a lot of stores that don't have maternity clothes anymore. So maternity, newborn, preemie, all the way up through size 18, 20 in girls and boys, and then our young adult section.
Got it.
So plus we
That's
take
a great idea.
Games and books and like all the little baby
So
items.
it is not just clothing.
It is everything. Home decor for your kids. Like,
oh, wow. Okay.
So newborn all the way up till 18, 20.
So your clients, the people that are selling into the system, they just hold all the merchandise at their house until the show happens, and you do 2 shows. Why do you do 2 shows a year?
Because it goes back to that spring cleaning and that harvest cleaning. Our brains are actually built to do a seasonal rotation. It's built for
I
a
get
spring
it.
clean and a harvest clean.
I don't remember my mom ever doing any cleaning, so I was not familiar with that concept. But, you know,
Yeah.
we used to take like one of those air blowers, a leaf blower, to get all the
Right.
dog hair out of the house. But we had to do that pretty much monthly. So, okay, so 2 events a year that kind of cooperate with the calendar.
Mhm.
God, I think that's such a good idea.
It's
Yeah.
every 6 months. We try to plan it to where you literally this season is for this season.
Mhm.
Fall, winter, spring, summer, you're set. Like you can sell so much under one thing. And, you know, I love being able to give back. And one of the other things that we do is you do not have to come pick your stuff up that doesn't sell.
What do you do with it?
So you have 2 choices. You can pick it up, you can give it to a friend, you can consign it again, or we can donate it to local nonprofits that
Oh,
actually
okay.
use those items instead of, them ending up in the landfill or them getting resold for 5 times the price.
So you're giving the best of both worlds. You can drop your stuff off. You might get paid for it.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, we're going to do something else with it that benefits the community.
Yes.
Well, I have a crappy business.
Ah,
Like, I don't know, man. That's awesome that she's like, you're really helping people, Samantha.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
beautiful. I didn't quite have the understanding of that, but I'm glad that you do. So people are getting a paycheck from you. How long do your events last? How long is it open?
So we usually have drop-off days for 2-3 days, depending on where we have the event, and then we're open for 1 week.
So
1
1
week.
week sale,
Yep.
2
You
or
don't
3
want to miss out on it.
Right.
about 3 days leading up to it. So that's when you're merchandising all the stuff
Mhm.
around the location. Now you change your locations every year at this point.
It all depends on where we're at. For my location, I've changed several times. The ultimate goal is to find a home to host these events,
Right.
but sometimes it's just not possible.
So how
depending
many
on where it's
square
at.
feet of merchandise? How many pieces of merchandise do you have at your store on a normal
So
time?
this year we averaged about 15,000 items for both events.
Wow. That seems like a bunch, right?
That's
That
a
is
lot
a
of
lot.
socks.
That is a lot of socks.
Hey, we do consign socks that
Oh,
are
right.
brand new in package, and
Yeah. there you go.
bows and hats and shoes.
Yeah.
Let's talk about shoes for a minute. Those things are expensive.
Yeah. It's well, once you hit, a certain age, they're all the same size. That your foot size doesn't change, but my daughter's feet,
But the needs change. Like you need shoes for dress, you need shoes for just running, and you're supposed to apparently change your tennis
You
shoes
need
every so
shoes
often.
for recording a podcast.
Yeah.
yeah, I've got like 2 options: tennis shoes, hiking boots. That's
Hey, there
about
you
it.
go.
Hey, I've sold hiking boots at my sale. People are
Cool.
so excited. Cowboy boots.
Yeah.
So, well, tell me how you came to choose Rhea Lana then as a business partner. Did you know the person beforehand?
So I think we talked about it a little bit before, but I started when I was pregnant, and I got hooked just because I loved how it looked. I got to experience everything.
You were a consumer or you were working there?
I was a consumer.
Okay.
I learned it from finding a postcard and getting to shop early as an expecting mom, and I was like, this is pretty awesome. Because I
Yeah.
had went to some other consignment stores and I walked right back out that door. Or
Yeah.
I'd been to a few other places and it didn't feel right.
Yeah.
It felt like a garage sale, and I'm not a garage sale person.
Right.
But then I started getting to talk to the people that worked there, and the sense of they were all like this secondary family to each other. Like they were helping each other whatever season they were in. Like there was somebody pulling tags that was pregnant, there was somebody that was a grandma that was just working that 1 week to be able to buy stuff for their grandkids. Like it's just amazing how diverse the amount of people that come to Rhea Lana's. And so I was like, okay, how do I work and how do I make money, working these events and being able to shop even earlier because I worked for it. I could see everything coming in because 15,000 items is a lot.
Yeah.
Like unless you're seeing it come in, you have no idea. And that's why I find things every single day of the event, being there every day as an owner.
So, you said you're not a garage sale person,
Mm-mm.
and I'm not really either when it comes to clothing.
Right.
But do people worry about the clothing itself, whether it's clean? I mean, do you how do you deal with that?
So we call it the Riolana difference. We do a quality check of those. I mean, we sometimes do a smell test too, make sure everything that comes in is checked. It's inspected by workers. It's been put out on the floor and it's quality. I mean, even the strollers and, those big items that are a lot of money,
Yeah,
like we want to make sure it's quality.
sure.
So that
Especially
is
with somebody's baby.
right.
Like they're really digging in and making sure they're getting the right
Well,
things.
and then, part of the reason why we have the long lead time beforehand is we check to make sure things aren't recalled, make sure that everything that, is usable. Like,
So you have a safety protocol in place and a quality protocol. You call it the
yes,
Riolana difference?
we do.
Man, that is awesome. Very cool. So how did you convert then from client to owning the whole business? That
So
sounds like a takeover.
it is.
Samantha's corporate takeover.
So I am a student at heart. That's just I want to learn everything from like one thing all the way through the other. And I just fell in love with it and I started getting more involved. I became management at another franchise and I encouraged a friend to start one from scratch.
Oh.
That lived in north of Tulsa. And so she started that one and she's like, hey, I'm going to start Midtown Tulsa. Like, we need one in Midtown for the Tulsa area. So I actually helped her start that in 2017.
Oh.
And I worked for 4 different Riolana franchises for 3 years before I was like, okay, if anyone sells one, it's mine. Like, I was hooked. My husband already knew this was a plan. It was my dream. And in 2022, she calls me and she's like, hey, do you still want to buy this? My life changed. Things happen. We all go through different seasons of life. And I was like, absolutely. Like, let's talk. Let's figure out how to make this happen.
Wow.
And it was the best decision I ever made. So I love that I've gotten different communities because, having a Tulsa one versus being in Claremore or Muskogee, Bartlesville, like those areas are great. You learn from them, but it's different. It's different when it's a very business oriented area.
Right.
And you just have so many people in one spot. I mean, I could walk 1 mile and hit 150 houses. Like, there's just a lot of people.
So doing what you do, I know there's all kinds of challenges.
Yes.
So let's talk about a couple that are just, I know you've had a bunch of challenges. I know finding real estate is one of them. Let's don't talk about that because that's always tough.
It's always
That's tough for every entrepreneur. What other kind of challenges does Samantha Moneypenny face on an ongoing basis running your Riolana business?
I mean, besides having kids of my own to work around it, but that's the beauty of it is I get to be mom and do this, but there's just a lot of little things. Like you've got to be your own social media manager to building the friendships with other local mom groups. Like being in those mom groups is very important because that's how you build those relationships and get to know people. And I'm a very much a people person.
Yes, you are.
And it can be challenging. Sometimes I overstretch myself and do too much, as my husband would say, but I love it. I wouldn't have it any other way.
All right. Well, we're going to take a pause right there and we're going to say thank you to some of our advertisers. Mr. Kenneth.
Yes, sir. So we do have so many great advertisers here on the Cashflows podcast. Today, we're going to feature yours truly. I'm here to help bring your awesome ideas to life, whether that be a fun podcast like this one or any sort of photo or video projects that you have. I specialize in helping businesses explode their online presence through professional photo and video with a rapid turnaround. It's commercial service with a personal touch.
All right, Kenneth, thank you very much for that shout out to yourself. And I would like to duplicate that shout out. You have done some amazing work, and for people wanting to expand their presence. I think you and I have had this conversation a few times, is just let people know you exist.
Yeah.
And what you've done in helping this podcast grow and other people's businesses, especially your own. You just kind of have to wait it out sometime and let people know you exist and go out and perform well. And man, you've sure done that. So we're thankful for you.
I like
Thank
all
you.
the food, like all the food that you just make me want to go and eat at the restaurants. Like,
Oh,
Yeah.
so
that's
much
my
fun.
favorite.
Yeah, he's a
So
great
much fun.
food
I'm like, man, those
photographer.
pancakes look amazing. Where are those pancakes at?
I
Like,
kind of want to go and be his assistant at one of these shoots. Like, what do they do with
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
You all done with that?
Right?
you done with that?
Yeah, we
Or-
do that. We do that sometimes.
You gonna eat that?
Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, let's carry on with Samantha Moneypenny. She's with Midtown Tulsa Rhea, Lana, and one of our favorite entrepreneurs in the business owners networking group. Samantha, we're talking just about your business and how it works, and I'm fascinated by the idea that and a lot of people having babies or women. Wait, a lot of people having babies or women. I'm sorry, most of them. But I've also been through with my own spouse what it's like to have a newborn and then another newborn a few years later. And I think what you're doing is really revolutionary. And we live in this high-tech world, but this seems more hands-on to me.
Absolutely.
Does high-tech help you, or does it benefit you, or is it neutral?
I mean, it helps. It helps bring people in because people still want that touch.
Right.
They want to know how their stroller holds up. Like, how many times do you pull up on YouTube figuring out how this works or things like that? And so, I mean, you don't know how many strollers I have learned how to fold because people want to know. Like, and then it just goes down to, like, I met a mom that was fostering a kid and had
Oh, yeah.
nothing.
Wow.
And she basically only had $100.
Wow.
What can you buy for $100? Well, at Rhea Lana's, you can buy a lot,
Right.
but if you went to the mall or you go somewhere else, one, you're going to be going to 5 different stores.
Right.
And 2, that $100 is maybe going to buy you a stroller.
A couple of things, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe a couple pairs of shoes and a couple outfits.
So spend a minute on the money back so people can bring in all their clothes and get paid.
So we call it consignor credit. It's amazing because I literally can see live how much money I am making every single day of the sale.
Right.
So starting our first public day, I can be like, okay, how much money have I made? Check the app. I made $100. Maybe I should go shop. Maybe my kid needs that bicycle that, or, oh, my kid's birthday's coming up. Maybe I can go find something at Rhea Lana's. Or they had his jeans there that's the next size up. Or getting him a coat that's extra because inevitably it will get lost in the lost and found.
Right.
Buying an extra backpack for grandma's house. Like, there's so many different things. Buying for Easter, buying for Christmas. Like, that's why we have our events early, is so you can plan for life.
Okay, so what kind of money are we talking about here? Let's get real with this.
So,
like, is it $1?
No.
You get a $2 refund.
So people that come and shop are pre-sale, coming and shopping all 15,000 items. I've done the math because I know you love numbers. Save $240 buying a $20 ticket to come shop Rhea Lana's over buying at retail. And that's just an average number.
On average, your shoppers are saving $240.
Absolutely.
What about the people getting a paycheck back?
So
how does that work?
So they're getting 60%. Now, if you refer people, obviously we have a referral program that's pretty awesome where you can earn more. The more you tell people, 1, you're going to sell your stuff, and 2, you're going to increase how much money you're making.
So wait, the person selling the item gets 60%?
60%.
And you're keeping 40%?
Mm-hmm.
And you merchandise it and make sure it's clean and safe and healthy, and you...
Yep. And they can decide to come pick it up. If it doesn't sell, they can donate it. Like,
wow.
It's a win-win. And, we're going to get a step further. You ready?
Yeah, let's go.
You can enter up to 300 items in one event.
Oh. So this, I mean...
You can legit clean your house out and then fill it back up again if you want to.
Right.
Wow.
I mean, I've wrote a $1,000 check before.
Wait a minute. Say that again.
I have written a $1,000 check to a consignor before.
Wow. There we go.
Cash money.
All right.
Even with the other options that we offer, like we offer a VIP service where we do all the work for you. You're just supplying the stuff. We'll tag it, prep it, all of that. I've written a $500 check.
Man.
They make a lower percentage because somebody else is doing the work. But, you're still like that stuff is gathering dust. It's not going anywhere.
Yeah, and it's a nuisance.
It is.
Like I know you came to my house and picked up, I don't know, were they books or CDs or
Books,
they
yeah.
were books. And those books have been sitting in because my daughter's so very, very clean and fastidious.
Mm-hmm.
And they'd been sitting in those boxes I'll just say for a while.
Yeah.
And if you didn't come and pick them up, I was like, okay,
Where are you going to take them?
I am done with these.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Samantha's coming over. Let's get these together. And it was just and
it gets you in that whole. Sorry. It gets you in that mode of I know where it's going to go every 6 months, so you come back.
Yeah,
yeah.
And my kids now are trained.
You're creating an ecosystem for these personal items that people need to buy and rebuy and resell.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Man, I think that's brilliant. I mean, that's a form of conservation, or of just.
Well, I got a fun number for you. Ready?
Bring it.
You know how much textile waste an average person throws away? Anybody want to guess?
Well, hang on a second. Textile like clothing, not textile like technology.
Right.
Style. Okay.
Clothing.
Okay.
Bedding, anything that's fabric, made out of fabric.
Right. How much do they throw away?
On average.
Per year? Or in a lifetime?
Per month.
Oh, per month. Okay. I have no idea.
70 pounds.
Wow.
Yikes.
The average American person throws away 70 pounds of textile fabric goods in a month. So not only, people are becoming more eco-conscious. Like that's just kind of where we're at in life. And they're looking to be a more local supporter, right?
Right.
So that is why Rhea Lana's is a great answer, is because it fits both of those. Like the thing your kid wore 1 or 2 times is getting a new life to somebody. And it's helping somebody be able to afford it that may not be able to. I mean, I know for a while it was hard to go buy something for $40.
Sure. Well, this is great. I get why Rhea Lana's is becoming popular. When is your next show?
So we're currently
approximately.
We don't have dates for our next event yet, but we try to have a February event for spring and a September event for fall. It's kind of where we.
And I know you'll keep us posted, and we'll put that all over Facebook and whatever. That last question, we want to get a golden nugget from you in a minute, but before we do that, when you do a thing like this, and Samantha, this is magnificent. This is a great idea, and I'm glad you're doing it. How does it work how do you balance your family life and your hobbies and your faith and networking and all of these things together? Like, I think you have to keep an eye on that. How's that been for you?
It actually has been the best thing because I work really hard. Like it's very time constrained, about 3 or 4 weeks of the year. That's about it.
Wow. Okay.
Everything else is just, I can work around my kids, whatever. Like I can go to the holiday parties. I can go to and celebrate. I can go read a book to their class. I can be present for them, but also run this amazing business. I also get to go and network with people whenever I want to and have coffee. And, I can go to these mom walk things and get to help them in their newborn stage when they're exhausted and tired and just looking for another mom to cry with or just be with,
Yeah, I think there's value in time.
There's so much in that. And, my kids are very special in their own way. And I've gotten to learn, as a special needs mom, there's even more to that. And being able to support the community just with the neurodivergent and special needs just in general, you have to value your time. Everything that you do has value. And this is so much of what I do, but I do it for my kids. Like, I sell clothes to buy more clothes for my kids.
Yeah.
But it helps so much. And
well, Samantha, we are glad you're here today at Cashflows. Give us a nugget that our business owners out there in the B.O.N.G world and also in the rest of the world who will be seeing these podcasts. Give us a nugget for business or life that means a lot to you.
So my biggest nugget is life is like building blocks.
Oh.
If your house has these big patches in there, you can't build on that. You're gonna have to patch those first and build from it.
Right.
You can't run a marathon either. So you have to be okay to start somewhere. Don't be afraid to add new blocks of new people that you meet and be okay with the in-between. it's okay to only be 3 or 4 blocks because one day it's going to be bigger than that. And you can look back and be like, oh, shoot, it's been a year since I met Cash Matthews. Like, it's been a year since I've met these people. And it seems like forever. But if I hadn't done that thing,
Right.
I wouldn't be in this chair.
Yeah. And right there is the definition of fire, aim, ready. We're so glad to have you here today. Our guest today is Samantha Moneypenny. She is with Midtown Tulsa Lana. That website is midtowntulsa.realana.com. Realana is RHEALANA. midtowntulsa.realana.com. And Kenneth, we ready to wrap this show up?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, listen, we are so happy everybody was here today. We know that you love visiting with Samantha, and we would encourage you to meet with her via email or one-on-one or however that works for you. And we're glad you stopped by. Thank you again to our sponsors, CM Customs, Lori Zeller at Elevate Coworking, Mr. Kenneth Buckham, and those fine people over at MFP, My Financial Plan. Glad to have everybody here today. And until our next show, please make good choices, love one another, be forgiving, and have a magnificent life. And for all of our friends in Smackover, Arkansas, we want to thank you for being here today. And for the 3 of you that continue to like mine and Kenneth's posts on Facebook on a regular basis, to the 3 of you, hey, we're heading over to Quick Trip in a bit. Y'all need anything?
That's our show for today. Stay tuned for another riveting edition of Cashflows.